Our ability to hear is a large part of what makes us human, to be able to connect with the world around us. What we see with patients with hearing loss is that they really struggle to participate in the world around them, to be able to talk to their children and grandchildren, converse on the telephone, and do all the things that you and I take for granted.
I felt disconnected, and I felt very alone.
I felt isolated.
It kind of made me feel like a little invisible.
For about 30 years, a wonderful technology has been available to help patients who are deaf be able to hear. It's called a cochlear implant. As opposed to a hearing aid, which basically amplifies sound in the ear, a cochlear implant is a different technology that uses electrical stimulation to provide a much more clear, better perception of sound. In 2012, I was visiting with several colleagues at a conference in Texas. We were appalled at the fact that only 5% of deaf individuals have access to cochlear implant technology. At that meeting, we decided to do something about it, and the Auditory Implant Initiative was born a year later. The Auditory Implant Initiative, or AII, is a national network of hearing professionals who are really passionate about bringing the gift of sound to more people. We do this in a lot of ways, but the most important core concept of what we believe is that if we work together, we can have a larger impact than if we work alone. We are leveraging our data to be able to approach insurance companies and to be able to explain to them why this technology brings so much value so they can provide better coverage for the procedure. And we also want to be able to provide resources to our members who are part of our network. In Wichita Falls, we've performed about 40 cochlear implant surgeries, and I have literally seen patients transform from being very despondent and lonely to being engaged and energetic about life.
I wasn't born deaf, and when I was 2 years old, I had a spinal meningitis, and I lost my hearing.
Before I had my implants, I felt like people were just accommodating me when they invited me to something. I felt like I was just a tag-along. I had to ask so many questions.
It was like really hard to hear. I wore hearing aids for like 8 or 9 years. Even though age kind of felt a little sad and alone.
Trinity was very limited on what she would participate in. She felt left out. She was withdrawn. She kind of went into herself.
All I knew for myself was wear hearing aid. Because at the time, my boys were little. They would normally get frustrated, that I don't understand what they're saying.
So then I decided it was time I tried to hear for myself.
Getting the implant for Trinity has meant everything. It has unlocked so many doors for her.
It made me feel like confident, excited.
Since I've got my implant, I have enjoyed being connected with life, with activities that I couldn't do before.
My sons, I can be able to hear them better when they read to me. They have a certain personality in their voices, It really excites me. Hearing them read to me and hear their voices, it overwhelms me sometimes.
She now actually interacts with other children.
I love art, I've always loved it.
Now that she has the implant, she actually is in an art class with the hearing children, participating and actually loving it.
It really benefited me as a way of life, and it benefits my family and my son as far as communication. I didn't realize how loud they were, but it's all good. It's all good.
I enjoy going to my little beauty shop. We catch up on who's doing what, who's sick, who needs some help, and it's just having fun. I wish I had had this 30 years ago.
It really is joyful to be able to see patients enjoy happier, fuller lives. We're proud that the Auditory Implant Initiative started here, and we are excited to see how this organization is expanding across the United States.
I'll tell you, the first sound I never heard before is a clock, the ticking of a clock. I know it sounds little, but It's amazing to me.
The refrigerator makes a sound when the doors don't close. The dryer makes a sound when it's. I never could hear those before. And the birds are so noisy outside.
And when I listen to music, I just hear the music.
When they turned the implant on, the first thing she said was, "Granny, I heard them ding." I've never seen such a smile on anyone. It was amazing.